Um, how are you feeling today? Are you how would you describe your emotions?
You know, my life has been a roller coaster for 22 years. Being adopted and having this happen, I have struggled with anxiety my whole entire life. When I say anxiety, I mean severe anxiety. I have panic attacks probably daily. I'm on disability because I can't work. I fear things that nobody should have to fear. I fear death constantly. In high school I took an anatomy class, and when I learned about HIV and anatomy, I was terrified I had it. I knew that they missed a test and I must have had it. So I went through this 3-year period where I would get tested every month. I was like, I know I have it. It was in my mind that I'm dying and I can't get this out of my mind, and to this day I have panic attacks weekly and all the time about I feel like I'm dying. And so, you know, I have a good team of doctors now helping me. And they all say it's stemming from what happened. And even though I don't vividly remember what happened, my mind knows something bad happened, and that's why it reacts the way it does. I responded in promiscuity, younger age, which I'm definitely not proud of. But so depression, anxiety, promiscuity are definitely factors in being molested. And even though it's been a long journey, even though I have problems, I am very hopeful about my future. I hope to become a nurse one day, and I do want to go over to Romania and work with AIDS patients, because I think bringing the two together would be some sort of, it would be light in a really horrible situation.
That's a beautiful idea. That's really lovely.
But I have to get my anxiety under control first, because right now I'm nuts. So, but I work on it. I mean, my life hasn't all been horrible. I've had good times, you know, and anybody out there that's ever dealt with this, I want them to know that they're not alone, and that there is hope out there, there's help, and my mom is the biggest supporter ever, and if it wasn't for her, I don't know where I would be, so I'm very thankful for her.
It sounds like Adam Brown really changed your lives, in an absolutely
yes
fundamental way.
Yes.
And
my siblings
continues to.
Yes.
Affected her siblings as well.
It's affected my
the whole
relationships
family dynamics.
I mean, I have abandonment issues. I fear being alone. Up until about 2 years ago, I didn't sleep alone. I slept with my mom. I hated to be, you know, in the dark. He used to torture me with spiders. He used to put spiders in my crib, and I'm deathly, and I'm not talking about a normal arachnophobia. I panic if I see a spider in a way that nobody else panics. Right. And I'm never alone. I absolutely hate being alone. I still crawl into her bed if I can't sleep. If I'm scared, I'm not afraid to admit I will crawl in her bed. It's just, you know, it's scary.
And he used control tactics. I think all child abusers of that kind, the ones who aren't groomers, who are the violent ones, one of the things he did was dress up. Do you remember the tiger?
Mm-hmm.
He dressed up like a tiger, and part of it is not just to control the children, but to make them unbelievable. Who's going to believe what they say?
Right.
But she was very alert for a 2-year-old. She said, well, Mommy, when Adam turned into a tiger, he had a zipper on his tummy. And so they checked, and he had access through the college to costumes. So it wasn't unbelievable when you took apart their story.
But I knew that the jury, I mean, not at that time, but I know now, I think about, you know, looking back at Casey Anthony, you know, and other cases, and watching things like SVU, I know how it kind of works, and I know that the prosecution would have torn me apart.
Yeah, the defense.
The defense would have torn me apart. I was 3 years old. You know, they would have poked holes in absolutely everything I said, so even though there was truth to my story, they couldn't go off solely on what I was saying, because it wouldn't have been held up in court. And that's probably the worst thing, is that maybe if I was a little bit older, or maybe, you know, if the crime was a little bit even more severe, maybe he would have been in jail, and to this day, this little boy would be okay. And so, for me, I feel, in a way, guilty. You know, it wasn't enough of my trauma to have him step back and say, hey, I'm just gonna live my life and I've done horrible things, but to do it again and reoffend after he, you know, is the worst part. And I know I've said that repeatedly, but that's what my biggest thing is, that you've done it to many people already, you've seen what it can do, and you did it again. And it wasn't enough for the jury to see, or the courts to see, and that, you know, that it happened again. They let it happen, or
The court
not so much
system
they let
needs
it, but
to
it just...
change it. There needs to be some way to allow video testimony of small children other than direct cross-examination by a defense attorney. One of the attorneys in this case said he would have torn my children apart on the stand. And so that's what we had. We had to work within the system that was in place then, and I don't know if there have been any changes since then.
And so from a mother's perspective, you're not only wanting justice for your children, but you're also having to simultaneously try to protect them from the justice system
Yes.
that where somebody is able to say, I want to tear them apart.
Yes, and it wasn't the prosecution side. I think they did the very best they could with what they had.
Reading through the accounts, he's referred to as Uncle Adam. Is that how he was known to children?
See, we never knew him before.
You never knew him, okay.
Because we didn't live in that neighborhood.
Okay. How did your children end up?
There was a
in
daycare
his-
center, a wonderful family-owned daycare center on his street.
Okay.
Tanya Nugent lived across the street. Her little girl attended the daycare. The daycare operators had to go back east for a family emergency, and she offered to run the center during that time. Well, she allowed Adam Brown to have access to the children. In
Okay.
fact, she facilitated, and as far as I could tell, participated.
Right.
Was that the girlfriend?
Yes.
She's a sicko.
Okay, so the children, you and the other children were there at the daycare center.
Right.
That she was filling in.
Right.
Running it for how long? How long?
Just a week.
Just for a
But there
week.
was one day, she got it worse than the others. There was one day, I think it was a Saturday, I had something come up and she offered to watch her, and she was the only child there, so that was the worst day. She said that Adam carried her to his house, and she says, I kicked and I screamed, and she says, I couldn't get away, Adam hurt me. And she had bruises on her legs that they explained away, or that Tanya explained away. Then she said, when they got there, she said, I ran up the stairs and I hid. I hid in the closet and I called for you, Mommy. I called for you and you didn't come. And then he found me.
And it was to you that he acknowledged that he was HIV positive and he was trying to.
He told her.
It was you, okay.
Yes, he
Okay.
told her, and that was what she was repeating in her.
Okay.
um,
And so at
Baby
2.5
words.
years old, she wouldn't have known HIV.
No, she said,
There wouldn't have been a reason for you to know what he was saying. to you.
and she didn't say HIV. She said, Adam say he's sick and he's mad and now he's going to kill me. Adam says he hates babies and I'm a baby and he's going to kill me. And I would rock her every night and she would tell me, Adam say he'd kill me.
And during that week, you didn't know that
Oh,
this
of course
was
not. She
real.
told me Adam hurt me.
Mhm.
So I
Did you know
called.
who Adam was?
No.
Okay.
I called and Tanya said, oh, it's a little boy here. I'm sorry, we have a little boy. He's just a little bit bigger than she is. I'll be really careful not to let him hurt her again.
So you're comforting her as a mom, thinking she's having trouble
Right.
with another
child.
Okay.
Adam hurt me. I had no idea until we got called in for an interview with the Children's Services people. Other than there was something wrong with my little girl. She had become withdrawn. I knew there was something wrong. We'd actually started therapy.
In that week.
Not that week.
No, okay.
Later that summer.
Okay.
She became withdrawn, started acting out, and then actually started acting out in some sexual ways. And so we went to a counselor right away. And nobody arrived back at the day. I mean, nobody came to the conclusion that something happened at the daycare center. She came up with the counselor tried to tell us some other things, but I knew there was something wrong. And then shortly after that, we were called into children's services, and then it was,
Snow there.
oh, I was in total shock when they give the children the drawings and they do the talk, but they didn't lead her or anything. Has anybody ever hurt you in one of these places? She took a pen, and on the adult male, she started stabbing him. She filled the paper with holes around his crotch area. Adam, do it. Just started screaming, Adam, do it, Adam, do it. And then she marked on the baby doll picture where Adam hurt her. But she was just stabbing him in his crotch. How Adam hurt her, or where? The genitals, whatever you want to. She said it's peachy, but.
You are a remarkable young woman.
Thank you.
And, the state you may be disabled according to the state, but you are a remarkable young lady.
She's going to come out of it.
And you are a remarkable mother.
Oh, thank you.
I.
Well, in grand jury, she was amazing. Not even 3 years old yet,
Yeah.
and she went around